Welcome to the Dawn Jarvis Show with Dawn Jarvis, the diverse nurse. And in this podcast, we will be talking about healthcare, self-care, diversity, careers, and well-being from a black woman's perspective. We're really happy that you're here. So if you're ready, let's get on with the show.
Hi everybody, it's the Dawn Jarvis Show. Welcome back to another show. This is the podcast and YouTube channel that looks at, how business owners can keep themselves focused, positive, while maintaining their health and well-being. I am delighted to be joined by my guest today, Sapphire Gray. I know Sapphire, we are in a group together and we were in a sort of breakout room and we got talking, and I thought she'd make a brilliant guest for the show. So today we're going to learn about how to be a savvy property investor. So welcome, Sapphire Gray. How are you?
Thanks, Dawn, and thanks for having me here. I'm well, thank you.
Brilliant. So Sapphire is an award-winning property investment and business coach for women with over 30 years experience in this area. She helps busy professionals, women, become more financially independent by empowering them to build additional revenue via investing in property, which allows them to have control of their financial future. Well, that sounds absolutely wonderful, Sapphire. So how did you get to be a savvy property investor? What's your story?
Well, just to give you a background, I'm a mother of four. And when I started out on my business endeavors, it was to facilitate being at home mum, as well as building a business. Now, I started off in the finance world, so I became a mortgage broker before investing in property, but found that I was doing a lot for clients in the investment realm. So I decided that, hey, there's got to be something in this. So I started my journey investing primarily back in the 90s to look at how can I build an investment portfolio that gave me and allowed me to build generational wealth for my children at the time. So I started to get into it from that aspect. It was a hard slog, but I can proudly say I've really got there and achieved what I wanted to achieve out of it.
That's amazing and so brilliant that you talk about sort of like you're doing it to build a future for your children. And I think a lot of people think about that. It's about legacy, isn't it? It's around, building sort of like generational wealth for our community. And it's really good that you did that. But you said you started in the financial area. So did you do that side by side? Did you before you sort of went down on your own?
I did. I was a finance broker, award-winning finance broker at that, and really got into helping people get mortgages. Back then, you had your 95% loan to values, you had your 100% loan to values. It was a very big space at the time for investors getting into property. So I was part of that cohort that came out of the 90s doing property finance and investments for on behalf of clients and looking after their portfolios as well. So I've always been in the property space one way or another, but transitioned to a total investor and then property coach from there on.
Brilliant. So how do you help people? Do you coach them about how to make the right investments, or and do you do that for them or do you do that with them?
I do that with them. It's a DIY. So I work side by side my members to try and really get them to understand what investing is, because I like them to invest wisely and smartly and safely. So I always try to show how can you get a property to invest in that's going to give you a good return. So my whole sort of ethos throughout my business is really helping women, empowering them to make wise choices when it comes to investments. And it doesn't matter whether you're in business or employed, it's still looking at your financial aspects, because sometimes women are not financially educated. So I like to educate people financially and show them that how it is to build out your revenue on top of what you're currently earning, or going into the property space full time. So yeah, I love the teaching aspect of it.
Brilliant. And I think that sort of like, not that I struggle with money, but it's something I know I have to think about. And I think you think sort of naturally, sort of, I know when I was working full time, I didn't really think about it. And thought that to sort of like invest in property or invest full stop, I needed quite a lot of money to do that. And I just was wondering, and is it something that we should be thinking about? So I didn't think about it when I was working full time at all.
Yeah.
I do now because I've got a business, and it's sort of
Yeah.
like money's everything, isn't it, really? But so why should you be thinking about investing now? Why is investing now the key?
Well, the first thing that people always try to show people is that they invested in themselves by working, but drawing down on a pension. When they retire at that 65 years old, I'm going to retire and I'm going to have a healthy pension. What happened was the surprise of that pension ain't as healthy as people thought.
Yes.
So when I look at teaching on the financial aspects, I show you where your pension pot will sit with you when you retire. So building out an investment portfolio now, it's going to help you to balance out your pension, be it that a working pension or a business pension you have, but it will help balance that out so that you can live the lifestyle that you want. No one wants to be scratching around for money when they retire. They don't want to go into retirement and then have to come out of retirement just to, survive. So I try to educate people how to be financially savvy through the younger years of their life, I like to put it, in order that they can sort of really have a balance when they do want that retirement, because retirement is just a number.
Yes.
But we will get to that point where we're tired of working, we're tired of running our businesses, and we just want to relax. So what does that number look like to you? So that's what I put in place to look at your finances really well, in order that you understand what you want to live on at the back end of when you want that luxury lifestyle.
And is there a magic age that you should be looking at it, or does it matter what age you are when you look at it?
I like to start as young as possible. There is no really lower limit, but there is definitely a ceiling to where you can really start looking at your finances. Because when you get to the ripe old age of sort of in your 60s going upwards, it prevents you, but it slows down your ability to make the money that you need to make up for your income on a month by month basis. So I always say start young as possible and build your way up from there. But I always say nothing's never too late. You can always start today.
Well, that is really, really good to know. And I think, and also I think when you start your business as well, and you haven't got that full-time job behind you, it's a time to be looking at it. Would you agree with that?
100%. Yeah.
Brilliant. So what's the one strategy that you could sort of like say to our audience that to start with that will help them to be successful with sort of investing?
Well, if I share with you the one strategy I started with, and it's a simple strategy. I bought an investment. It was below market value. That means it had a built-in discount. It had built-in equity as well. So I bought it, I renovated that property, then I refinanced that property and took out the equity and then done that again. So I just started with one. And then I started to repeat that. So I would buy a property, hold it, rent it out, or I'll buy a property and fix it up and sell it for the profits and then do that again. So it's a repeat pattern, but you can just start with one.
That sounds amazing. And I it's one of those things that I would love to do, so when I was on maternity leave and the times when I haven't been working, I used to watch Homes Under the Hammer. And for people not in the UK, that's a program about people who do exactly what Sapphire has just said. And I think, I'd love to do that. I think there's something around the confidence to do that, because it feels so big. So do you break it down for people?
Absolutely. So when I teach it, I like to teach it in stages, because there's no point in teaching a theory if you're not going to put it into practice. So I teach it from the theoretical point of view. Then I get them to build out that actual business in order that they can then launch their business and build it where they're buying a property, where they feel secure that they can buy a property because they've got all the knowledge behind them.
And how many people have you worked with to sort of do that,
Countless. I've got a client base. I've got a membership group, and then I've got individual clients as well. So the individual clients want to fast track their learning. Yes. So I do a 90-day sprint with them. Yeah. And the clients that want to take it over a 12-month period, I do that with them as well. So yeah, I've had countless clients through my 32 years in business, I've done that and built out companies as well, because I'm not only a property coach, I'm a business coach as well.
That's fantastic, and and a really inspirational as well. And I can tell, so I've had conversations with Sapphire, and she's an amazing woman, and lots of stories to tell. But I just want to talk about, why do you think you need to be passionate about what you do? Because I know that you are passionate about what you're doing. That really comes across.
I think it being passionate about what you do allows you to then feel it's not work.
Yeah.
When you do something and you're sort of employed by someone, and you go home and you complain, oh, I don't like this job, and and it's not paying me enough, and you just feel really frustrated. When I get up Monday morning, I literally leap out of bed and say, hey, I love what I do, because not only am I passionate about it, I understand it, like doing it, and love helping people through it. So I think you need to come from the space of, why are you doing something? Why should you be passionate? It's supposed to be enjoyable. Nothing in life is supposed to be bland. It's like, you wouldn't eat a meal that is bland. You'd want that meal to look tasty. I always say that through
for real.
Yeah,
for real. And I totally agree with you, because I think one of the things I learned about starting my business, I've been in business around a year now, that what I love about it, and why that even though it's possible to go back to work, and I've got a profession, I could go back to work, I don't want to, because I'm doing exactly what I want to do, what the things that I wanted to do at work that I wasn't able to, because there were business objectives that that I was paid to do. But my objectives in my business are my objectives, are the things that I'm passionate about, and working with the people that I want to work with, and doing the things that I want to do. And I think it's really important, sort of like what you're doing, and sort of like, you're investing in yourself, aren't you? You're investing in your future. You're investing so that you can do exactly what you want to do when you get older, as you said, that so you don't have to go back to work because you haven't got enough money. You don't have to. But I remember when I was nursing, working and seeing cleaners that were like in their 70s still working, and I was thinking, nah, man, that can't be that. Why would we need to sort of like, and even from our parents, I know people talking about the stamp they used to pay on their on their national insurance, and it wasn't enough because they were part-time, and and that meant they had to carry on working. And I think it's really important to educate women, particularly women from our community, about but always be thinking about the future. And even with my young daughter, I was saying, you need, even if you put £10 a month away, man, you need to put it away, because that will build up over time. So I think it's really important, so that you can do things that you're passionate about. And I think, and then you can be successful, can't you, in whatever you decide to do with your life or your business or your career, can't you? So I really love that. So I always, so I'm a nurse, so I always talk about health and well-being, and this show is about the health and well-being of really busy entrepreneurs, A-type personalities, are really driven to be successful. And I sort of ask, how do you maintain your own health and well-being? How do you stay positive and focused, positive, and productive, I guess, so that you can do the things you want to do in your business? Because one of the things I found is that I was unwell over the weekend. I had sort of a gastric flu thing, and but there's still things to do in the business. There's still things, and I'm quite driven, but I really need to think about my sleep and getting enough water and things like that. So how do you do it, Sapphire?
Well, the thing about it, I liken myself to a luxury car. And a luxury car, you'll always make sure that you have an MOT done on yourself. So I try to do, throughout the year, I do health checks. So I check out where my health is, what my dietary is, am I taking enough water in, and also get all sort of my eyes tested, dentistry, all those kind of things. I look after myself, so that I make sure that I'm in tip-top shape. And I'm not saying that different things don't get thrown at me, curveballs throughout the year, but I try to stay on top of where I am, how I eat healthily, do I exercise, what do I need to do to make sure I maintain my health? Then I look at how that health can affect my business. So I put a team in place. In the event that I need to take off time, I've got a team in place to take over the business while I can recuperate. But I always believe in having positive things. Now, I love to dance and I love music. So I try to combine the two as well. And I like taking holidays. So I take pit stops within my business to say, this is my time. And I reward myself either going on holiday, having a luxury dinner, going out to the movies, doing something that is enjoyable. Because when you're taking that time for self, that is also a healing power as well, because you're then saying, right, it's me time. And it's not a selfish attitude to have, it's a productive and positive attitude to have. So I take out time for myself. I make sure that I do the regular checks on myself to make sure that I'm in tip-top shape. Like the one thing I do, I take a diary as well. So I make sure that I'm writing down where I am, how I'm feeling, and communicate that to my community as well. And what I find is when you are feeling a bit low, is to share it. Is to say to people, look, this is the space I'm in right now. And once you do that, you're taking that burden off yourself and saying, I'm not perfect. I am trying to do things and achieve things. However, life will get in the way. And this is how I deal with it. And I simply just take a step back, refocus, re-energize myself and move myself forward. So I'm always positive. I'm always smiling. I'm always laughing. I listen to music. I dance. I enjoy family time. I definitely have the work-life balance down to a T now. Mm-hmm. So I definitely have that balance with having my daughters, my grandchildren, and spending quality time with friends and everything else, and entertaining them as well brings me joy. So it makes it a positive personal life, but also a positive business life as well.
I really love everything you said there. So you talked about making space for yourself. So you've got a team so that, you know, you don't have to be there all the time. And I think that's really, really important, sort of to build some support structures around yourself. You talked about sort of like doing sort of like that sort of like MOT on yourself, like you would. And I love the analogy with a luxury car, because you keep it clean. You would like you would do picture everything as well. You make sure the oil is right. You make sure you use everything good. And luxury cars have luxury accessories, they have luxury everything, don't they? So I love that sort of like checking in on your eyes, you know, you sort of like, you know, looking at your health, you know, making sure you're eating right, you know, drinking right, taking enough exercise, having a run out in your luxury car. And but I also like what you thought about holidays, like taking time for yourself, because that's an investment in yourself, isn't it? Absolutely. And also about journaling and reflecting on what's going on for you, and then sharing it with your community and people around. So, you know, no man's an island, are they? So, you know, we're all part of the community. So I really, really, really love that. Love it. Thank you, Sapphire. That's absolutely wonderful. So have you got something going on that you want to talk to the audience about, that you can sort of like share with the audience, like a gift, a promotion that you're doing right now?
Yeah, I'm promoting my Savvy Women Investors Academy. It's an academy where women can come on and to a platform. It's a membership platform, and you're learning every month how to build yourself as a woman, but also building out your investments as well. So I take you on a whole journey. It's 6 modules written by myself, and it's a qualification at the back end of it as well. So you actually do graduate from it. And what you get from it is not only having a robust business, a property portfolio, building that out, but you start to know who you are as an individual around money. Because we've got some limiting beliefs within ourselves about how we see and view money. And I get you to really focus around that. What is that blocks you from making money? What blocks you from moving yourself forward? What has got you into debt if you're in debt? Because we have women on there that have been in debt, and now going through the process of cleaning up their debt. So I don't ever ostracize anybody. You don't have to learn something because you've got tons of money sitting in the bank. You're learning something, how to be more savvy with your money and how you could make a good monetary sense when you're moving yourself forward. So it's a membership, and it offers 6 modules. We do Q&As, we do cocktail hours. We do offsite as well. So we visit different shops, different places. We do group sessions together. So it's really a community of women that, you know, come together and has the sole aim of helping and supporting one another and moving themselves forward. And what distinguishes me is that I do the teaching. I don't hand it off to somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't believe in handing it off to someone else because you can't replicate me.
Yeah.
So I want to really make sure that the women are getting the information and my 32 years of experience in the field and really helping them. And I'm a kind of an OTT hand-holding person. I love helping my clients, and they ask me 1,001 questions. They say, Sapphire, aren't you tired of us asking questions? I love it, because that means that your mind is curious. That means that you want to learn. So I love to take them through that journey. And once they start to really come into themselves, you see their confidence levels go up. You see them, coming in. And I always said to people, when somebody teaches you something special, become a specialist in the area that you've adapted, the strategy that you want. And once you become that specialist, you're supposed to be better than the trainer. So I love that.
I love that, because I think sometimes with memberships, it's sort of like, I really believe that you should be graduating, that you should be better than when you started, whenever you do something, and that should be the goal, that there should be sort of like an achievement to get. So that is absolutely fantastic.
But my aim is to get a return on your investment. You cannot invest via yourself or a monetary investment and not see a return at the back end of it. So I'm all aiming for, every time the students say to me, what is it that you want from us? I want you to buy your first property. I want you to graduate. That is an achievement for them. And I want them to see a return on their money, because so many times we've seen courses out there, we put our money in it and we think, all right, I've got to learn it. But that's the theory side of it.
Yeah.
When you put it into practice, am I seeing a return on it? So I always say to my students, I want to see a return on it. And I don't rest. I'm a Rottweiler. I don't rest until you do.
Well, I think that's good. I think it's good because you want to see the results, don't you? You want to see you paid your money, so what's happening? You know what I mean? And I think I love that, because so to have the sort of course leader invested in you, sort of like being successful, is how it should be, shouldn't it? Really, sort of to keep you going, and the accountability that goes with that is the thing. So we'll put the links to how you can get involved and join the academy in the show notes. They will be there. It's swiacademy.com join /join the academy, but I'll put it in the show notes for everybody. It sounds fantastic. I might join it myself. So that's wonderful. I was just wondering, what would you, the sort of like, we're coming to the end of the show. It's been really great. What would you like to leave the listeners? Is there a tip that you would like to leave the listeners with?
When I get asked this question, I've got so many tips, but one thing I want to do is anything that you do, make sure you're investing in yourself and you're passionate about doing it. Don't do something because it's another shiny object. Do it because you love it and you want to gain from it. So stay positive and stay fresh and stay savvy.
Oh, that's lovely. That's really, really great. I really, really like that. Stay savvy. Love it. Yeah. I love that. Savvy businesswomen, savvy women investors. You heard it here. And that's wonderful. So I will be putting in the show notes. Sapphire is fantastic, and I knew that from the first minute I met her. So, if you want to get in contact with her, please do. And I'll put the link in the show notes. And thank you so much for being here, Sapphire. It was fantastic.
It's been brilliant. Thanks a lot for having me.
You're very welcome. So with that, that's the Dawn Jarvis Show, and I hope let's speak soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Dawn Jarvis Show. If you enjoyed this episode, there are 2 things you can do. Number 1, leave Dawn a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. It would mean so much to her if you took a moment out of your time to post your thoughts on the show. It will help Dawn reach so many more people and help them with their well-being. Number 2, subscribe to Dawn's email list, the Diverse Nurse Digest, using the link in the show notes. Until the next time, thank you and goodbye.